Humans are lazy. They tend to phase out what they don't like doing, right? And this is why the people that make the most money or see the most success in the world are creative people. They are not the people that are working manual, low-skilled labor jobs. And this has shown across the entirety of human evolution. As an example, when we got tired of manually plowing our fields, let's say at a farm, the creative person came in and innovated, and they made a tractor, and they expanded their mind to the point where that imaginary idea of a tractor got turned into an actual tractor through creativity and building and pulling all of the resources they had at the time to create that tractor. So over time, things have been getting phased out. I saw a tweet about last week that some guy was complaining about one of those like automated ordering touchscreen things that you're starting to see at like McDonald's or other fast food chains, where you come in and you like click your order, and it's phasing out cashiers because it saves the entire company as a whole money. Now, a lot of people would see this as a bad thing, but the people that either believe in themselves or know that they have a higher potential and know that they have the possibility of learning new skills and increasing their skill set, improving their skill set through self-education and the endless ocean of resources online, and just taking a few hours a day to actually do that, those people aren't worried. Maybe they have a bit of worry at first where it's like, oh yeah, this like the low skill jobs are kind of getting phased out. I may have to go this route or the other route. But all in all, the lesson in this is to consistently improve yourself and acquire high value skills and become a student of life in a sense. So you open up room for more creativity in yourself, and the creative solutions you build open up more opportunity and creativity for others. As an example, the creator economy. So the creators, visionaries, strategists, leaders, etc., are the ones that make the most money because they make the money for themselves. They create their own job in a sense because they understand human nature, and they understand that all you have to do is understand how other people perceive value, educate them a bit, and do it ethically, as many people would advise. But you create a solution that someone else wants, and then they buy it from you, and that's how you make a creative income, and you go on to innovate. As an example, creators, I've mentioned this before, but 60% of the new jobs, or 60% of new jobs haven't been created yet. Creators, and I'm not talking only about like content creators, I'm talking about creators as a whole, those that lean into their nature as a creator and start to piece together thoughts. Everyone is a creator. Everyone has the potential for creativity if they expand and develop themselves and specifically their mind. So there's people like, for example, I don't even know what my job title is. I put this out to attract an audience and start cultivating some value. I do everything. I understand what people want and I give it to them. Most of it, 80%, 90%, I would even say 95% of the content I create is free. And then the other 5%, which is still a vast amount, is paid. And the people that want access to that information or those products, services, whatever it may be, that's how you make an income. You have people, you have value, you bridge the gap. So a quote from Naval, which we've been including quotes from him in a ton of videos recently because I've been studying him a lot. He's a very smart dude, and I'm starting to piece together his entire philosophy, and it's very aligned with mine. So a tweet from him: if the work doesn't require creativity, delegate it, automate it, or leave it. So what this means is that you need to take personal responsibility for your future and increase your own skill set so you don't get phased out by what is human nature in continuously creating a better future for us. Consciousness is the fabric of reality. Everything that you are conscious of right now, you are projecting meaning onto to create your own reality. The ability to order consciousness is the greatest skill of the 21st century. Now, what I mean by that is the ability to create certainty from uncertainty, or create signal from noise, or meaning from struggle, or all of those things, right? It's polar thinking, it's polarity, it's two sides of the same coin. There's chaos and there's clarity. You put someone in an environment where it seems chaotic to them, you throw them off their routine, you just put them into a new mental or physical environment in general, and they'll feel a bit lost. It's not familiar to them. And you put another person who understands that environment and can control consciousness within that environment, they are much more at peace because they have made sense of that specifically. Nature is creative. You are creative. God is creative. The universe is creative. Whatever form or interpretation of the higher intelligence that exists out there is creative. You can see this in everyday life. Things are constantly creating and growing internally, which is an important buzzword that we'll get back to. They grow internally. They generate their own energy. Creation is the process of molding, controlling, and ordering consciousness. And this is tapped into from our subconscious, the information that we have been made aware of throughout our entire lives, the information that we have been exposed to, the energetic frequencies, if you will, that we have tapped into and pulled information from. That is what we can pull from. And at that point, it's our job to take that, make that creation with our mind, and put it out into the world so other people can benefit from it. Now, we understand and make sense of this information through our senses, the things that we can make sense of and that we are directly conscious of through our senses. Now, what most people are unaware of is the sixth sense, which is awareness. This is the foundation of creativity because we can become aware of so many things that stem beyond what we can make sense of via the traditional five senses, right? You can become aware of a feeling or a thought or something that is intangible that people that operate from the materialist paradigm don't value. And that is also stored in your subconscious and allows you to pull from more information to be creative. Now, I want to make a separation between what people think is creativity and what creativity actually is. What people think creativity is usually dependent on a skill, like design or art, or something that implies more creativity than a technical skill. And while that does require some form of creative output, that is not true creativity. There are designers that are still in a low skill labor job making X amount of money, and there is AI and other things that are coming in to pretty much take over their jobs. And so the visionaries, the strategists, the leaders, the innovators, the creators of the world that end up making the most money aren't necessarily reliant on these creative skill sets. They are reliant on their nature as a creative being. So the true form of creativity is best explained with this graphic that I have created and am throwing up right now. So at the top it says creativity equals create plus clarity. Now, creative solutions to modern problems are how you make the big bucks. That's how these innovators, visionaries, whatever, actually make the big bucks. They do it by diving into the unknown, kind of collecting these dots that you see in the graph and becoming aware of those certain dots and then connecting them. Now, I want you to think of this graphic, the circle in the graphic. If you have already forgot it, here it is again. The circle in the graphic is the unknown, or it is the experience you gain over time, or it is what you are made conscious of. I want you to think of it like a map. Your job as a human being is to trek into the unknown aspects of life, the uncomfortable aspects of life, the unpredictable aspects of life, and gain awareness of what is on that map, right? And as you create this map, or you kind of explore this map of your reality, you start filling in those dots that are not filled in with the dots that are filled in. Now, the dots that are filled in are what you are made conscious of. And now creativity is taking that experience and all of the stimuli and information and everything else that has been stored in your subconscious and creating clarity from that. That's what creativity is, where you are pulling from your prior experiences and the information that you have in your head, which is more than you are directly conscious of right now because it is in your subconscious. That connecting those dots is how you make a creative solution to a modern problem. Now, I want you to think of it like this, where if you were to put 5 creative people at the bottom of a mountain and you ask them, how do you get to the top, right? The desired outcome. And they'll all draw different ways of getting up there because they have been exposed to certain tools or strategies or tactics or ways of doing things that will make all of those paths that they draw unique. And this is why there is no saturation or competition in creative markets or free markets. And so that's what people want. They want a step-by-step kind of systemized or at least clear way of achieving a certain desired outcome in their life, right? You think of that as the top point of the map and people have to trek through it. That is your job on this earth, is to help people advance in stages of development by giving them a creative solution to do so and helping them navigate the rocks and the roadblocks that you encountered on the way up to the top of the mountain, right? Because you're creating a map, you're encountering these difficult aspects of life, you're experiencing these problems, you're solving them, you're figuring it out, and you're continuing moving towards your vision for the future or whatever it may be, your goals. And if you're documenting this or at least becoming aware of these things along the way, because you can do this unconsciously and not be able to tap into the kind of creative energy that you've built over time. Now, it's no wonder why these creative abilities are harnessed by so few, because from the time we are born to the time we turn 18 or go through the school system, our reality has been externally created. We've been assigned specific things to read and become conscious of, right? Because there are schooling. I sound like I'm attacking the school system when it's a blessing and a curse, where there are fundamental aspects of reality to get everyone on the same page so we can actually operate as a society that we need to be informed or made aware of through the school system and through assigned work. It's almost impossible. It is impossible to avoid external conditioning or just being made aware of things from other people as you are growing up. That's how you learn to survive and operate in the world. It's all survival, where you're imitating everyone around you, or you're soaking in information and you're kind of building out these complex systems within your mind of what's good, what's bad. When you get negative feedback on something, when a kid touches a candle and he's made conscious of, oh, this hurts, I'm not going to do that again, I'm going to do this instead. That's a system, right? You get negative feedback, so you try something else until it works, and eventually that gets conditioned over time into your head. But there are dangers that come along with that, because it is very easy, especially in this modern world, to just go about life unconsciously, to be constantly distracted, to do the things that are assigned to you, to follow the ordered consciousness or the hierarchy of goals that corporations and organizations and religion have set out for you. Because that's the thing. We talked about ordering consciousness previously, and we're kind of we're kind of back in 5th century BC, when there was an abundance of ideas and information that was being created. Because in this phase that we're in whatever this is, just in the life that we live right now, people are questioning things, right? There is an abundance of information and ideas, and uncertainty and anxiety are all there because people are losing trust in what originally would order consciousness and create that clarity for us, which are, let's say, corporate culture, right? They have that They have steps. They have clarity on what you need to do, what you need to show up and work on, what you're working towards as a corporation. The same thing with religion. Whether you're religious or not, they are assigning a set of values and beliefs to you that help you make sense of reality and order your consciousness so you can operate from a non-anxious or chaotic place. So for some, this is scary, right? Because it's like, oh, what do? I have no one to tell me what to do, when you need to cultivate that value of personal responsibility in your life, create your own vision for your future, create your own set of values, create your own routines to operate by, create a code for your life that is conducive to optimal outcomes in your life that help you navigate reality and dive into the unknown aspects and increase your skill set and do all of these different things that will breed creativity and a good life for yourself. In short, it's about not accepting handouts or putting your fate or your future in another person's hands. Now, this shouldn't be controversial, and I'm sure it isn't for people that are watching this video, but it blows my mind to see that taking responsibility for your future and being able to use the vast amount of information that is being put online, anything you want, you can find. Any skill you want to learn, you can learn it. Anything. If you have a problem in your life, there is something that you can learn and educate yourself on and become directly conscious of until you can test a system for getting that desired outcome. You are quite literally creating a better life for yourself by learning, self-educating, becoming directly conscious of things that you can use to solve problems in your life, right? Mental mindset. It's all about self-development, not only like the tangible aspects of life, but the mental aspects of life. Mindset and mental development and intellectual development has to be a top priority of yours. You have to consistently be learning if you want to bust through certain stages of development in your life and be able to build creative solutions for those under you and help them reach the stage that you've reached in life. That's what life is all about. That's what evolution is all about. That's what raising the collective human consciousness and what everyone is put here to do is all about, is to develop yourself and become conscious of the things, the roadblocks, the failures, the lessons, everything else, so other people can reach that stage faster and you continue building. Because that's the thing. In terms of the job market, 60% of new jobs have not been created yet. Creators are creating their own jobs. I don't even know what I do for work. What would I label myself? Maybe like I label myself as a brand advisor right now, because it's like nothing that I do falls under conventional career paths, right? It's I forge my own way. I understand how to make money. I understand what is perceived as valuable. I have developed myself to a point where I can help people reach the levels that I have, and I attract an audience of people that want to do similar things as me and share similar values and a similar vision and similar goals for their life, and I can help them achieve that via free or paid content. 95+% of my content is free. The 5% that is paid are these creative solutions for navigating life and business in general. And so that's the main distinction there, is that creativity, like a design job, isn't inherently valuable. Your design skill isn't inherently valuable. If you can apply that skill to help people improve and develop themselves to a new stage in order to reach some desired outcome in their life, then that's perfectly fine. Let's say someone has the problem of not being able to design their profile picture, or they want to get a design job, and you help them learn what they need to learn faster than they would at, say, a college degree, right? And now this is directly applicable across a wide, infinite range of interests and skills and all of these other things that people learn through their genuine curiosity, right? Everyone is different. If everyone from the time that they were 18 learned how to harness and use their curiosity or their intuition or whatever that calling or that force in you that you suppress because you're like, oh no, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to go to work and do all this stuff. And I'm tired after work. And I don't have time to read. I don't have time to learn. I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to develop myself and open up new room in the unknown aspects of life to expand my mind and be able to be more creative and tap into a higher way of living that normal people or average people or people that are externally conditioned and unconscious their entire lives, that's the life that they lead. So in order to reach these new stages and make more money, you can't expect people to just give it to you. You have to dive into the unknown. You have to figure it out for yourself, and you have to be able to create clarity for those under you, because that's what all of this is. It's corporate. It's all people helping those that are under them in terms of the developmental stages. That's what all of this is. And once you understand that and can learn about this, then that's when things start to open up for you. Now, I want to touch on focus a bit. I'm going to throw up another graph, which is the focus matrix. And I want you to think about this for a bit, because a lot of people I've seen, they don't take spirituality seriously, or they don't take pretty much another interpretation of the phenomenon that psychology is slowly starting to figure out, that science is slowly starting to understand. They don't take spirituality seriously for that reason, when in essence what spirituality is saying is that if you are in an open or divergent or conscious state of focus in that bottom right quadrant of this focus matrix, that you are tapping into your creative abilities as a human, because you aren't so hyper fixated on, let's say, a negative thought in your head or just something in general. There is a separation between productivity and creativity, and the further right you go on this spectrum of focus, the more creative you are. The more you go on the kind of divergent side of things, the more focused and creative you are. The more narrow your focus is, the less creative you are. That's when you are more productive. The more convergent or open or wide your focus is, the more creative you are, because you're in essence expanding your mind or tapping into your subconscious and all of the things that you have been made conscious of throughout your entire life. And now this is where creativity truly starts to become a thing, because that's when you can pull from all of this information that you've stored over time. Now, creativity is not inherently valuable, okay? You can spend 6 figures, a lot of money, on a degree in artistic basket weaving or some other thing like that, or whatever creative thing you want to get into, or artistic thing. And even in terms of like business or anything you want to learn, it's not inherently valuable until you understand how a select group of people perceives value. A select group of people are watching this video, and even a more select few are understanding exactly what I'm saying. And that's just the thing. You have to understand this. What is deemed valuable is up to perception. What you see as extremely valuable in your life, based on what you've been made conscious of throughout your entire life and what you have been conditioned to believe, is going to be completely different from the next person. Completely different. They're going to see it as a hunk of garbage when you see it as a diamond, right? So along with your creative endeavors, right, and you are building your creative muscle by developing yourself and your mind. Now, the way you kind of harness this is by studying human nature, human understanding, studying the people that are going to give you their money and help you build that creative income source. How else are you going to get money, right? You need people. You need people that deem something that you create valuable. So you need to study things like psychology, spirituality, human nature, philosophy, storytelling, just human understanding in general, how we make sense of the world, possibly consciousness, all of the things that dictate our experience and what makes our experience better, because that's what people want. People may or may not pay to make their experience on this earth worse. That's not what people want. People want to make their experience better. They want to feel better. They want to experience a better life. They want to have novel experiences and become passionate about life itself. Now, by studying one of these things, you're in essence studying all of them, right? Marketing, for example, is just applied psychology or applied persuasion or whatever it may be. Your marketing is a structured way. It is a creative way to market something to a human and understand them and kind of tap into what makes them perceive your product as valuable. Now, I truly believe that human understanding is an iceberg that everyone should master. So if you're watching this and it's like, I don't know what to learn, I don't know what to dive into the unknown, because that's what all of this is. It's learning and diving into the unknown. The way you do that is by learning and making yourself directly conscious of something. So then the things that you learn about and apply to your own life and internalize can be tapped into from your subconscious and formed and molded and ordered to create clarity for another person and help them reach the place that you have faster and navigate that path on the map faster than you did, so you can raise the collective human consciousness and do what you were put on this earth to do. So in terms of human understanding, if you have no idea what to learn, I would recommend diving into marketing, persuasion, and sales. It's the easiest way to not only understand yourself as a human, but to understand others and what they perceive valuable, so you can start creating things that are valuable and eventually exchange that value for money. That's how you build a creative income, is by developing yourself, understanding how people perceive things as valuable, following online marketing and all of these other things to attract people to your message, so getting traffic, and then creating an offer that seems valuable to them. So I really don't want to hear that. Like, this is completely against the point when people ask me, like, okay, well, how do I start learning about that? Type human understanding or type marketing or sales or persuasion into your search bar. And if we refer back to the graph on what we did earlier, where it has all of those dots on it, the first dot is you diving into the unknown. It's not about asking me questions on what to research. It's about figuring it out for yourself. Buy a book on marketing. Buy a book on persuasion. You don't need the perfect, top-rated, recommended by everyone book. You need to expose yourself to the information, see what you are curious about as you are reading through that, and then continue diving down the rabbit hole and either buying books or researching online or buying courses or investing in yourself as a whole and your learning and your education. That's how you do it. You just start. Do not ask questions right now. Go buy a marketing book. Do some research. That's how you make it in this world. Stop relying on me to externally condition you. So, I may not tell you exactly what to buy in order to start learning when it comes to the skill set that will make anything else monetizable. So marketing, sales, persuasion, branding. But I can teach you how to learn in an effective way, right? Can't teach you what to learn, but I can teach you how to learn so you can learn faster. And the first step to this is to immerse yourself in an environment conducive to the desired outcome that you want. And now what I mean by that is buying a book to read this month. Any book. Don't ask questions. Buy a book. Research. Read that book for that month. Set aside 30 minutes a day. The next thing is to follow people on social media that are talking about those interests. So they're talking about marketing. They're talking about sales. They're talking about persuasion. They're talking about your other interests as well. What they're not talking about is just like a cesspool of negativity and self-deprecation that most people get sucked into. Or they're flexing this lifestyle that nobody actually wants, but you've been conditioned into wanting. You don't want the fancy car. You don't want the mansion. You want the experience. And that's related to that because you've been made aware of the feelings that stem from that experience. I want to feel good. I want to feel energetic all the time. I want to feel whatever, maybe the lust that comes from these girls in the mansion parties and the cars. I want to feel that adrenaline that comes from driving those cars. So don't follow those people that are flexing the false lifestyles. Follow the people that are truly putting out good information, and this takes time, but you go to someone, let's say on Twitter or on YouTube, and then you go to who they are following and then you start following those people, and eventually you're exposed to this content. You're expanding your consciousness and your awareness, and you eventually immerse yourself in this environment that is constantly reminding you and educating you and helping you learn about these different things. So that's the thing. You buy a book, you follow people on social media, you read articles on blogs, you listen to podcasts. Your entire point of existence for this whole month is to just immerse yourself and gain a deep understanding of marketing, sales, persuasion, branding, and just human understanding in general. So if you want to follow people about spirituality and other things, you have to attack spirituality and possibly philosophy from the angle of understanding yourself and what you deem valuable, so you can understand what other people deem valuable and eventually create a solution to one of their problems. And so another thing you're doing here is you're expanding your awareness, right? So you're becoming aware of things. You're making the dots on the map that weren't filled in, you're making them filled in. And so eventually things won't make sense at first. You're like, what is this guy talking about with this whole marketing strategy stuff? I don't get it. But eventually you become aware of all of the things that connect the dots for you. So you're in essence already creating solutions to your own problems. How do I monetize something? Okay, immerse myself in the environment of marketing, sales, branding, persuasion, and then things start to come together. You start to connect the dots, and eventually you have a path to the solution, and now you can test that system or that process or that path, and once it works and gets results for you and you've experienced it, then you can take that and give it to other people. That's your creative solution for solving your own problems and figuring it out for yourself and gaining specific knowledge by pursuing your genuine curiosity with this stuff. So with all of this, during this time, you're also starting a personal project with potential profitability, right? So in our case, it would be a business. And I don't want to hear that you don't want to start a business or become an entrepreneur, because it's in your nature, right? We weren't meant to be metaphorical monkeys in cubicles that are neurobiologically deprived of what we are wired to do. We are wired to be entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are creators. You are a creator. You're just not putting the content that is in your head online. We've been moving in this direction for such a long time, where now everyone has the ability to have a platform and connect with the specific community of people that they vibe with the most and that are attracted to them. And this does take developing your communication, your writing, your persuasive skills to get to this point. So I personally, this isn't the only path, but it's the path I recommend after trying so many different things and failing at them. Your job is to start a personal brand, right? So a YouTube channel or a Twitter account. I recommend a Twitter account because it doesn't require you to have any editing or visual knowledge. It only requires that you know how to type on a keyboard. Now, what you're doing with this is you're kind of creating an outline, and you're creating something that you can tie your learnings to so you can apply them, right? Because if you're just learning and not doing anything with it, you're not learning. You really aren't. You're not gaining practical experience that can help other people because you don't know if it gets results. So the reason for you starting, let's say, a personal brand is so when you are learning about, say, marketing, and you learn this strategy or you learn this tactic or tip, you apply it to your personal brand. Because a personal brand, it requires every skill that an online business requires. It requires marketing. It requires communication. It requires writing and refining that writing and iterating over time. It requires understanding other humans and what they deem valuable so they engage with your posts, spread your message, and you start to build a following that eventually, when it comes time to create some form of solution from your experience, you can package that up and sell it to them. Now, step number 3. Number 1 was immerse yourself in a conducive environment, conducive learning environment. The second one is outlining a personal project with potential profitability, which is the best way to do that is a personal brand, because you can do anything with that. A personal brand is you, just online. And number 3 is embracing the unpredictable path, because nothing worth having is predictable. Now, we're going over this tweet from Naval yet again. Specific knowledge is knowledge that you cannot be trained for. If society can train you, it can train someone else and replace you. Specific knowledge is found by pursuing your genuine curiosity and passion rather than whatever is hot right now. So you create clarity, you order consciousness by diving into the unknown aspects of life, figuring things out, becoming aware of things, and having these dots on the map where you can connect them. That's specific knowledge, is how you get from point A to point B with the experience that you have in a creative way. And the way you actualize this is by becoming a creator. Another quote from Naval that helps illustrate this point, but I'm not going to throw it up on the screen, is that there are 7 billion people on this earth. One day, I hope there will be 7 billion businesses. I want you to stop thinking of it as a business, but rather you amplifying your voice and your value and just getting online and improving yourself and helping other people. That's what life is all about. And that's why unconsciously I think that us as a society have flocked to these social media platforms, and why these social media platforms have been built is so we can connect with the group of people and our tribe, metaphorical tribe, like our ancestors had in this time. And we help them develop their skills, and we educate each other and help people raise their consciousness. So I'm a firm believer that starting a personal brand nowadays is non-negotiable. It's not optional, because while most people are relying on different ways of getting jobs, this isn't only for becoming an entrepreneur or whatever it may be. It's for displaying your value as a human being so potential employers and other things can see your public resume and see that you are actually trying to apply your knowledge and get results in these creative domains and whatever your interests are, by talking about them, by enhancing the perception of your personal brand and whether people see it as valuable or not, and having social proof that employers can rely on by building a following and you getting results for other people just by helping them and connecting with them, right? It's leadership as a whole. So I want to make this practical for you, more than I already have with the other steps about immersing yourself in an environment, learning, all of this other stuff. I want to give you a simple 3-point business model that you can focus on. Now, this business model is writing based, so you don't need much, right? What you need is a newsletter, you need a Twitter account, and you need something to talk about. So what you need is a newsletter, a Twitter account, and a creative solution or potential solution to iterate on. So the first thing is starting a newsletter. Why? Because most traffic generating platforms like Twitter, Instagram, or these other short form platforms, they're very shallow, right? They're algorithm based, and you can game that algorithm and grow very fast, but there's no depth, there's no authority, there's nothing there that will inherently make people buy from you and trust you. Now, of course, you can sell from social media. That's more than a thing, and a lot of people make a lot of money with that. But I'm trying to set you up for success, not only in the domain of making money, but in the domain of developing yourself and writing longer form content so you can make sense of your ideas more, right? That's why I create these long videos, is so I can expand my mind, right? I enjoy creating these videos because it forces me to take what I'm learning and package it up in a way that hopefully makes sense to you. So the newsletter is the foundation of these videos. So what you do is you create a newsletter, you write about a topic every week or every month or whatever it may be. You start a newsletter. That's where you plug your services or your products. Now, the next thing is starting a Twitter account and understanding and learning and self-educating on how to make that work, right? The first thing you do when you start learning is, one, you create a project. You don't just start learning. You create a project so you can apply the information to it. So you start a Twitter account and you start educating yourself. Okay, what's going to make these tweets get more engagement? It's copywriting, it's persuasive writing, it's understanding social media in general and the platform you are on. So you can buy a Twitter course, or you can just study and emulate other people, but you also have to learn the principles of social media growth, right? When you start playing a game, it isn't fun until you learn the rules and you stick it out for a bit until it truly becomes a game to you and you can play it. You have to learn the principles or the fundamentals of any given skill or interest first, so then you kind of open up, you reach the initial branches, right? Let's say branches of awareness, where it's like, okay, I've learned the principles, and that opens up an entirety, like a few new branches to go off of. and it shows you what to learn next. That's how you pursue your genuine curiosity, is by learning the principles and fundamentals and trying a bunch of different things and seeing what you want to dive deeper into and not suppressing that curiosity. Now, as you're improving and developing your skill set here and hopefully building an audience along the way, you can start to charge for stuff. People have a bad relationship with money and a scarcity mindset around money. But if you're giving out free information on your Twitter and your newsletter, and you have a way of helping people, whether it be with the marketable skills you're learning, like branding, persuasion, copywriting, etc., you can help other people learn those that are 1 to 2 steps behind you and want to reach that next stage of development. Or if you have another interest that you're studying, let's say leadership or communication or web design or something else that you can help people with, you can either start with a minimum viable offer of something like $500 to $1,000 and start talking to people and pitch them in the DMs. Now, there are a lot of strategies to do this that I talk about all the time, not just in this video. And like, this video is getting long, so I'm not going to go over the like specifics here, but that's what you do. You reach out, you connect to people, with people, you ask them what their problems are, and you see what you can help. How you can help. That's just the foundation of value. That's how you provide value to another person, is being interested in the problems they have and then offering to help them for free at first to see if you can get results. But then eventually you can create like a pack of 4 consulting calls, which is pretty much just mentorship, right? It's like online mentorship. At school, you go to after school mentoring to get extra help. In online, you DM someone, you're like, hey, I'll sell you 4 calls for $1,000 and I'll help you do this, that, and other. And of course, as you're learning marketing and sales, you'll understand how to do this more efficiently, and you can self-educate on how to do this more efficiently. But it's more than possible, right? And then you start iterating on that, because from helping other people, you are learning more. You are expanding your awareness more to know what gets results, and then you'll be able to craft this process that you can replicate over time and eventually package up and sell to other people as a more expensive consulting or freelance offer, or into, let's say, a digital product, or even if the way of achieving a desired outcome comes from a physical product like a planner, right? I used to sell a planner. Then I can sell a planner and create one, right? And all of this information is online. You can find it if you try to find it and you just dive in and start actually building these things. So the way you do this is by working your way up the ladder. So you start posting online, you start hitting roadblocks, which is a problem that not only you are facing, but other people are facing. And then you write about either that problem or overcoming that problem, or what you're learning about to overcome that problem. And you start to develop some kind of confidence in giving that advice or that system or that thing that will solve their problem to them. And that's how you attract people that you can help to an audience. You solve your own problems or someone else's problems. If you already have expertise in a specific area, you talk about that in an engaging way, and then you eventually package up a system and sell it to them. But you start with free work first, right? Whether that be just posting content online or just getting on a call with someone, or even creating something for someone. Let's say you want to create social media banners for people and charge like $100 per banner. You can create one for someone that you want to meet and connect with and be like, hey, I made this for you, man. It's yours for free. And then they'll respond, of course, happily, and you guys will connect. And now you're connected. You gave someone else value, and now you're connected with this person who may have a large audience and who may shout you out or retweet you to help you grow your audience and get you more potential work. So as you continue up this ladder from free to paid, you can create a minimum viable offer, which is something like a basic freelance, one skilled freelance service, or like a pack of 4 consulting calls on whatever you have been developing your expertise in. And you sell that, and then you eventually get better. You eventually create a better solution. You eventually charge more, and then you can go and productize that creative system or solution that you've built and sell it to the audience that you've built over time. I truly believe that this is the way that the world is going in general, because as creators, we all follow creators, right? I follow and buy from the people that I follow because they solve problems in my life, and everyone does that. I follow 500 plus people everyone follows plus or minus 500 people. That's our tribe. That's what we're interested in. That's what we enjoy learning about. Those are our genuine curiosities. And if everyone were to do that, which they already do, and everyone were to deliver value, the creativity and evolution of the world will just work out in everyone's favor. But not everyone is going to do this. That's the beautiful thing about this, is that if everyone watched this video, there'd still only be 1% creators, 99% consumers. It's just natural. It's nature, right? There are going to be some people that don't understand or even care about this message. So the people listening to this, you're more than happy to join the 1% at any time that are creators. That's all I got to say. So dive into the unknown. Start developing yourself. Start developing your mind. Start diving into the unknown and collecting the dots so you can eventually connect them, and just enjoy the benefits that come along with living in accordance with nature and reaping the psychological benefits and good dopamine that comes from it. It's just a better way of living. It's a deeper satisfaction that you get from doing this than by pigging out on like nachos and whatever the fuck people do, watching Netflix all night. I'm not saying these things are inherently bad, but when it becomes your entire unconscious life, yeah, it's pretty bad. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe, and you can join Modern Mastery for $5 via the link in the description. That's all of my life and business strategies and the Discord server. There's just too much to list there. The next thing is the 10x your creative output challenge, which you can also find in the description. That is free, and it is kind of a tangible and guided way to practice and develop your creativity and expand your mind and your knowledge and start building out a knowledge base for all of this stuff. So I would recommend downloading that. And until the next video, I'll see you. Hope you have an incredible week ahead. Peace.